Since 2008, I have run over 5,000 events and hosted well over 1 million people. This podcast is for event planners and marketers and the industry's brightest minds. My name is Nick Field, and this is the Professional Partier Podcast. You can follow me at Nicholas John Field on all your major social networks. Have you ever dreamed about being the main connection for people looking to party? Being that one guy or girl that people call when they need some kind of fun in the world's best party destinations? Well, you need to meet Joel and hear his story. Joel is the founder of UpBeat Travel. He has done an amazing job and offered an incredible service to people coming to Las Vegas and traveling to other major party destinations. In this episode, you'll learn how he got started, what it's like to live life in Ibiza, London, Las Vegas, and how Joel's company gives white glove service that big companies cannot offer and can only be offered by individuals who are focused on that one-to-one service. If you want to live the life of a king, then this episode will inspire you to do just that. If you find this interesting, the only way for this show to grow and this channel to grow is for you to subscribe and give us a good rating. So please, if you find this helpful, please do subscribe, rate us, and forward this to a friend who may be interested. Enjoy. Hey, I'm Nick. Welcome to the Professional Partier Podcast. Welcome to the Professional Partier Podcast. I'm Nick. We are here to enhance the nightlife industry, enhance the events and entertainment industry. You can check us out on our website, theprofessionalpartier.com. Be sure to subscribe, join our community, and check it out. Today, I'm here with Joel. Joel Gilbert or Gilberto?
We'll go with Gilberto.
Yeah, all right, right on, sweet. Joel, you own a concierge company, correct? And a travel company. You and I have known each other for a little while now.
Over 10 years.
Over 10 years, man.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah, we're dating ourselves here.
Yeah.
But you originally, tell us, like, how did all roads lead to today? Like, give us the origin story of you and talk about your professional career and kind of how you got to where you are today.
Sounds good. So I left high school at like 16 years old. I didn't go to college. I didn't want to go to university. Bit of a lost soul. And then I went into a bit of a dead-end job.
And you were living in England?
This is in England, in the UK, yeah.
Where in the UK?
Just north of London.
Nice.
A place called Hertfordshire.
Yep.
So growing up, pretty standard childhood. As I said, went to high school, didn't go to college, didn't go to university, and then kind of got stuck in a bit of a dead-end job.
What were you doing?
Stacking shelves in a frozen food in a huge container.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not fun.
Yeah.
Especially in the UK because the weather's horrible anyway, so it wasn't ideal. So yeah, I was just hating my life a little bit there. And then I ended up on a bit of a lad's holiday where we went to like Ibiza.
Nice.
So it was a good time, a week of partying. And then
how old were you at this?
I'm like 17 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the drinking age in Ibiza?
18.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But there's no identification. They don't really ID you there. In the UK, they're a little bit more strict on it, but not really in Europe.
Yeah.
So when you go to these party capitals, they don't really care. So yeah, I was there at 17, partied for a week, and then as we were all going to get on the bus, I decided not doing it. So I stayed in Ibiza for, I think it was 6 months in the end.
Wow.
Just with my backpack. So
what did your parents say about that?
Nothing they could really say. They were just like, yeah, it's what it is. What it is, fair play, you know?
Most 17-year-olds that I know, if their parents did that, they would like castrate them or like keep them locked in a closet for a little while.
It was an interesting phone call between me and my mother, but my mother was a bit of a wild child when she grew up as well.
Yeah.
She went to Amsterdam, I think, when she was like 16 and lived there for like a year. So she couldn't really say too much, you know. So the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, as they say.
That's what's up.
So yeah, no, it was really good. It was an amazing experience, and that was the first taste of nightlife for me. Before that, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was a bit of a lost soul. Didn't know my direction in life. No qualifications, so it was stressful until that point. And then I realised while I was there for 6 months, this is something I think I'd like to kind of get into. What
were you doing? I imagine if you go when you're 17 years old to a foreign country where the native language is not English, and you're 17 years old.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine you had a lot of money in your bank.
No, zero.
So what did you do?
I started working on like the first night as a promoter outside one of the bars.
Ah, here we go.
So they pay you nightly. So at the end of the night, they'll pay you, I think back in the day, I think it was 30 euros, I think I made the first night, which is the equivalent of maybe $40.
Sure.
Yeah,
but that would have been in like 99.
We're talking early 2000s, yeah.
Yeah.
So fortunately, I'd made friends through the week. And obviously, as Ibiza is full of Europeans, predominantly the UK, is just like mini England. Everyone's English there. So there's a lot of other people between the ages of 18 to 30 who live there with like apartments and stuff. So I'd made a friend before who said I could crash on his sofa for the first few weeks until I found somewhere. So
nice.
That's where I stayed for the first few weeks. And as I said, with the promoting, I just did that for the first few months, and then it grew into like bar work.
Well, tell me about the promoting that you used to do when, like, your first job. Somebody can just go to another country and get a job promoting, where they get paid nightly. Like, what did you do as a promoter?
So you get like a little bit of real estate outside the front of your bar. It's a strip of bars basically in Ibiza, and between the start and the finish of the bar, you have between 1 to 5 promoters whose job it is, with all of the foot traffic, stop groups. Hey guys, you're coming in, and it was usually like a 2-for-1 deal, like a Dos per Uno.
Sure.
2-for-1 deal, guys, come in here, start your night before you go to the big nightclubs.
Yeah.
So obviously we were allowed to have we allowed 5 drink tickets a night. So obviously that lubricated a little bit, which helped.
Oh yeah, so like you got paid with 5 drinks. And
that was included. That was included in your pay. You just got 5 free drinks to
there you go.
lubricate you and get people in. Because obviously, if you've had a couple of drinks, it's always a little bit easier to talk to people. So that was basically the job. You went in from 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. and then after that, we'd go out to like the nightclubs because obviously we can get in for free through just networks and stuff.
How did you get paid like doing that stuff? They'd pay you cash.
All cash.
But like what would you, was it like a flat rate or
$1
commission?
Not $1, €1 per person you brought in.
Okay. So you're just like outside the bar and you're like, hey guys, come into my bar.
Yeah.
I've got a 2-for-1 drink.
Yeah.
And for every person that you would bring in, you'd get $1. And you'd get paid out cash at the end of the night.
End of the night, yeah.
And that was pretty popular for...
Pretty standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty standard across pretty much every job there. The bar staff got paid like a basic wage, but all of the promoters were on a similar deal to me.
Yeah. So how long did you do that promoting for before you moved on?
I was there for 6 months, and I floated between a little bit of bar work and doing the promoting. So yeah.
What did you do for the bar work?
It was just standard behind the bar, serving cocktails and just bottles.
Bartender.
Yeah, bartender.
17 years old?
17 years old.
There you go.
They never asked for my ID once, so I don't think they knew I was 17, but they never really asked. They just kind of presumed, so I'm not gonna say anything. So yeah, that was basically my taste into nightlife.
Nice.
Should we say,
All right, so you're working at a bar in Ibiza. What happens then?
We got to the end of the season. It's very seasonal, obviously, in Europe.
Yeah.
Once you get to September, October time, it flattens out. There's no one really there. Obviously, you have the locals and a few Brits who stay during winter, but most people just go home.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, so then I went back to the UK and just got another job that I hated. And then, obviously, the parents sat me down and they did the typical conversation of, you need to get some direction in life, you need to find a job, you need to stick with it, la, la, la. I was quite stubborn. I didn't want to listen to that, but I went and got a job anyway because obviously after you pay your bills, I don't like like asking for money off my parents, living off my parents. So I found a job. I think, what was I doing then? Like a call center job just for another 6-7 months until the next season came. And then I went over to a place called Tenerife, which is also in Spain, which is another one of the party islands, where I was informed that it's all year round.
So what was it like working in Tenerife? Because you said that you started to run promo teams. So obviously you weren't in the same situation where you're in front of a bar promoting if you've got a team. Yeah. Right?
No, they were in front of the bar. So we had some outside the front of the bar, and then there was areas just around the town where you could go as well. Because obviously they couldn't promote out the side of front of other bars. It was some certain rules to it,
How do you run a team if you're in front of a bar, though? Like how you were...
I mean, some of these bars are huge, like some of the real estate outside the front of them. So, at one stage we had a team of like 10 to 15, and they're all just dotting about, like some of the foot traffic coming through past these bars in summer, there's thousands of people coming past these. So you've got to have your team like picking people as they go. It got a bit hectic in summer. It got quite hectic.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a little bit of the wild, wild west. So, and then obviously having to manage people that are drunk as well, because they've had like 5 drinks, some of these teams. So it was, yeah.
Yeah. So, so you're working as a promotions manager. Tell me, like, what was that job like? What was your job as like a promotions manager?
Of course. So it was obviously hiring and firing. So I had to kind of find new
Young blood,
basically. Yeah. People like me that could just come to the city on a holiday even, and they wanted to stay, and then I'd get, come work with me. I'd take them under my wing. I'd give them training. I'd show them like where to stay sometimes as well. I'd give them advice on where the best areas to kind of stay, because it was a little rougher around the edges in Tenerife compared to some of the other places. Like the Canary Islands is owned by Spain, but it's just off the coast of Africa.
Yeah.
So you get in like a lot of Moroccans and Africans that kind of come in there as well. So it did get a little bit, like certain areas you have to be careful. I remember one area that I lived in, a complex, and it was a lot of the staff that lived there and other people. And like one day we'd wake up and there was like a dead cat in the pool that had been strangled with a bag around its neck.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like brutal things like that. And then the shopping centre just outside where we all worked, one day it hit the news, so if you Google this, you'll see it. A guy, maybe he was mentally ill, I'm guessing he was mentally ill, took a samurai sword and chopped a woman's head off in the middle of a store.
Oh.
Yeah, so it did get quite brutal in certain times. You did have to be careful. Obviously, girls walking down back alleys and stuff, you'd always have to just be careful.
So all the people that you would recruit for working under your promotions team, like you'd recruit them.
Yeah.
So where would you find them? Like
referrals was probably one of the biggest one.
Yeah.
Oh, my friend's coming over next week. Can I pass on your number? Yeah, of course. Social media, people messaging me. Hi Joel, I see you're in Tenerife. Do you want to? Can you get me a job?
Nice.
Of course I can. Yeah, sweet. So I mean the shelf life of some of these staff as well. Sometimes they'd last the night. Sometimes they'd last a couple of weeks. So it was very transitionary.
Yeah.
Lots of people coming in and out.
Yeah, I mean it's cash in hand, right? So
Exactly.
people are going to come in, they're going to work for the amount of money that they need, and then off to the next spot.
Exactly.
What are the economics of being like a promotions manager? How does that work?
So I kind of sat back a little bit and just kind of oversaw a lot of things, but then it was I had to also help people. So if someone was new and they'd approach someone and they didn't really know what they were saying, I'd come over and kind of take over, or just kind of give them a little bit of advice, a little bit of a push, get them into the bar, and then just give them.
And then, so was everybody still making $1?
Yeah, they were making $1, and then I'd make a percent
euro.
of the total take for the end of the night from the sales team.
Nice. How long did you do that for?
I think I did it for about a year and a half in the end. So I was there for 6 months, and then I became the promotions manager.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was good fun. It was good. The weather was beautiful all year round. It is a beautiful place, but as I said, it just was a little bit rough around the edges. So yeah.
Did it still have the seasonal effect of obviously winter's not going to be popping off like
exactly.
Yeah.
So
but at least it's open.
Exactly, and it was still busy. People were still there, but summer months were where you made your money, and then winter was kind of where you lived off your summer money a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what was it next after that?
So then, within the last 6 months, I met a girl. Obviously, standard boy meets girl. You know how it goes. And she was ready to go back to the UK and kind of settle down. So I was like, okay, cool, we can do that. So we made the move back to London. I got a job as a real estate agent.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a complete change of pace.
Yeah.
Which was interesting, but not for me. Again,
do you have to be licensed?
Not in the UK, no.
Really? You can just sell real estate without being licensed?
Real estate, no.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right.
So that was, it was an okay job. The hours were a little bit all over the place for me, and yeah, the money wasn't great. Obviously, whilst you're learning, they kind of push you more to lettings before you get into the sales.
Yeah.
So I was doing a lot more of the lettings, which was
just like leasing people. Or
yeah,
like
exactly.
renting out places.
Renting
right?
a place, basically.
Yeah. They don't use letting.
Letting is not used in the US. I'm still using the terminology. Even though I've been here 10 years, I still use it UK slang. But yeah, no. So I did that for 6 months, and then again, I just got the itch. I can't sit still. So me and my partner decided that we're going to go on a round the world trip.
Okay.
So we saved up for another 6 months, and we flew to Australia.
Nice.
And we did the 1 year work visa there.
Yeah.
Before we went there, though, we planned a 3-month trip through Southeast Asia. So we did Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, Bali, Laos. Indonesia. Which was amazing.
Yeah, I've done that trip. I've done it twice, actually.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's so nice.
It's like another planet.
So nice.
Yeah, so that was really good. I really enjoyed that. And then we got into Australia, and then we did the East Coast, which is kind of what everybody does.
Yeah, your standard backpacker type thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So we started in Sydney and worked all the way up to Cairns.
Yep.
And then whilst I was in Cairns, I was looking for a bit of work. We said we were going to stay there for a little while. And then I fell into a backpacker travel agency job.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my first taste into travel.
Yeah.
So yeah, worked there, and through working there, they gave you a thing called comps. So I could comp anything in the store, where I could go and try out anything in the store.
Yep.
So in Cairns, I'm sure you're pretty familiar with what's there, obviously.
I am, yeah.
Yeah. So into the rainforest, quad biking, out to the
reef.
Great Barrier Reef, yachts, skydiving.
Yeah.
And then, everything was free. So that was amazing. The money wasn't great, but it was really, really good.
Yeah. So since you brought it up, like, I think that it's important to talk about the lifestyle of the backpackers in Australia.
Yeah.
So I did that as well. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I'm Canadian. You're British, and we were able to get visas that would allow us to go and work there in Australia for a year. I don't think that Americans can get that. I think that they can get it for like 6 months, I believe.
Oh, really?
I believe that it's a Commonwealth thing.
So
that
makes sense.
If the Queen or King Charles is on your money, then you can go. But this is typical. This is typically the scene for those that don't know. You fly into Australia, and there's a scene of backpackers that stay at various hostels all around Sydney. And Sydney is a beautiful city. It's amazing. The closest thing I could really think of in the United States would maybe be San Francisco with nice beaches. Yeah. Maybe?
Probably.
Yeah. It's
closest you can get to, I'd say, to Sydney, but it's not quite the same, is it?
No, definitely not quite the same.
No.
And it's and then you stay at these hostels, and then everybody just parties their face off, and they're forced to get these jobs that are like cash jobs for the most part, or jobs that are at least fast money. And a lot of people get into nightlife. A lot of people party all the time. There's lots of pub crawls and stuff like that rolling around. And you go from the southeast coast of Australia, and then you start following the cities up the east coast. And the next major city that you're going to get to, probably like 10 hours north, is going to be Surfers Paradise, Gold Coast.
Yeah.
And then another 10 hours north is Cairns, or it's spelled like Cairns, but Cairns. And those 3 cities are major party cities, and there's a whole party scene in between all of that. And a lot of people that I know got their start in the party and the travel industry doing that circuit. Like, especially like we have a lot of mutual friends that did that, and a lot of these people that did this in like the mid to late 2000s are now working in either in sales or the travel industry or the party industry, and it's interesting to see that. It's like a lot of stuff gets bred from that.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I started in the travel in Cairns, but then I worked back down to the Gold Coast Surfers Paradise, and that's where I believe you went to Surfers Paradise as well, and you did. So the bar crawls there. That was my first proper taste of crazy money selling bar crawl tickets.
Tell us about this. Tell us about what the bar crawl companies are, and tell us about the money that you made doing it.
Yeah. So Surfers Paradise, I don't know how you can akin that to somewhere in the US, maybe like Miami, I guess, closest, would you say?
Miami.
Closest you can probably get. It's just a town/city, beautiful beach, really good nightlife, and a lot of the Australians go there to party. That's kind of their summer place to go, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's a thing every year called Schoolies. So Schoolies is basically
Spring break.
Spring break.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I got down there, it was just before spring break, and we were looking for work, and we got stopped just on the beach by someone. I can't remember who I was. I think it was Rhea.
Oh,
I think it was Rhea. Rhea used to work for us, worked for World Crawl.
Yeah.
And she sold us a bar crawl. She told us all about it. And we went on the bar crawl, had a great time, and then became friends with Rhea, who then got us the job. She then also advised us that the money is insane. You need to come do this. This is crazy. So obviously we took her on her word. And then my first day I worked there, I think I made $750 in like 2 hours or something.
Wow.
Which is crazy now, but I mean that's back then. And I was a backpacker, used to earning, I think I was earning maybe earning $12 an hour if I was lucky.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just absolutely insane. Like
Yeah.
the money was crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I have a really similar story. I was in Surfers Paradise, Australia. I was walking around on the Corso, and then I got stopped by, I don't know if you remember Scott Chave.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. So Scott stopped me, and we ended up being like, no, we're not interested. And then after he walked, and this never happens when you're in sales. He let us go. He let us walk away.
Yeah.
And then we're like, you know what? Maybe that is a good idea. And then we chased him down to stop him.
Wow.
And we're like, we want to buy this. Bought it. I actually ended up not even going on it. But
really?
I started working for the company later, and instantly started making crazy money doing it. So, yeah.
I mean, it's a perception. People just don't understand how much money you could make off of a bar crawl. Like everyone I ever spoke to when I was back home, and I'm just selling bar crawl tickets. They're like, "You okay? Do you want me to send you some money?" I'm like, "I'm earning more than you, mate, and you've got a full-time job, so just relax."
Yeah, yeah, totally.
It's crazy. So yeah, that was kind of my first induction into like the bar crawl type money. So everything's a path, isn't it? And everything you do is for a reason. So I've done like nightlife, I've done travel, and that's kind of how I merged into what I'm doing today. But like, we'll go through the story. But that's basically, my first induction into proper crazy money selling bar crawl tickets.
Yeah, it got real.
Seeing the vision.
I remember being so broke, and like the brokest I've ever been in my life. And in Australia, when you're trying to like drink, and you don't have a lot of money, you have to get these boxes of wine.
Goon.
You
give me PTSD talking about goon, but yeah, go on.
And so you get these boxes of wine, and it's like really, really bad wine. It may contain fish or egg products.
Yeah.
And when I started making this really good money doing these bar crawls, I remember I'd walk home, I'd pass by the liquor store, and then I'd start getting like $50 bottles of wine, like $60, $70, $80 bottles of wine from like the Marlborough region in New Zealand. And it was a game changer, game changer in my life.
Yeah.
For sure, making that money. It was cash in hand, right? It was so good.
It was so good.
Yeah.
And then that kind of, we managed to save up, I can't remember how much it was, we managed to save up like $5,000 each or something in like a few months, which paid for our trip back. So then we went back through Asia and just absolutely glamped the whole way through, you know. We were like not backpacking anymore. We were staying in like really nice hotels, doing all of the tours and excursions. So yeah, it was phenomenal.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, fast forward, and then you go back to Southeast Asia. What happens then?
We just did the standard traveling again. I think we went back to Thailand. We did Cambodia again. I think we did Laos this time. And then, went back to the UK. And then that's when I tried again to go back to normality and get a normal job. And I managed to get a job working for Flight Centre. Have you had a Flight Centre?
Yeah, Flight Centre.
I don't think there's not many in the US, I don't think.
There used to be.
Did there?
Yeah, there used to be.
Right.
Right? Didn't they?
No, I don't think they're as prevalent over here. But basically, it's a huge travel agency, isn't it? Like it's the largest travel agency in Europe and Australia. So I started working for them. I worked for them for like a year, but it was great and it was a good education. But selling other people's trips that I couldn't go on was just painful.
Yeah.
Like, it was just painful.
Yeah.
Creating these elaborate trips through Southeast Asia to Australia, all through South America. And it was, it just got to me in the end. And I was like, this isn't for me.
Right.
And then randomly, someone that was working at the Gold Coast messaged me to say, I'm in Vegas. I'm selling bar crawl tickets in Vegas.
Who was that?
Marcia. Yeah, good old Marcia.
Marcia.
So things were deteriorating between me and my partner at the time. We broke up. So it was like 3 months of just being drunk, being an idiot, nearly losing my job and just hating life. And then I had a chance phone call with Marcia, and she just sold me the dream on Vegas. And then I was like, you know what? Whatever. So I handed in my notice the next day, and I was in Vegas within a week, I think it was.
Nice.
Yeah, because I was just staying with a friend, so I wasn't on any lease or anything. So, so I was 27 then. and then booked my one-way ticket to Vegas, and then started working for the World Crawl.
Yeah, yeah. And then you worked for the Crawl for a couple of years, and then expanded that to out to San Diego, where you ran World Crawl San Diego for a couple of years, right? At least a year.
Yeah.
And yeah, that had its heyday back in like 2014 or something.
Yeah.
And back then, I remember like San Diego for a while was a real hotspot for partying. Like everybody wanted to go to San Diego to party. Travelers from all over the world wanted to go to San Diego to party, and it was doing really well. And then something happened.
Yeah.
My suspicion is that when Airbnb took over and started really popping off in like 2015 or so,
right,
the rent in San Diego went from like $850 a month for a one-bedroom apartment in downtown Gaslamp up to like $1450 a month or like $1650 a month or more.
Yeah.
Then I found that everybody that wanted to stay there and be there, and the young scene just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And I remember like we used to sell bar crawl tickets, like both in the beach, Pacific Beach, and Gaslamp. And there were some weeks we were crushing it, crushing it. And then within 2 years it was down 80%. 80%, and everybody was just leaving because it was just too expensive to live. I think that that scene is a younger scene, right? Like bar crawls, the bar crawl scene is a younger scene of people that really want, like a bar crawl is good for anybody. Yeah. But the reality is like probably 70% of people are in their early 20s. Yeah. And are on like that party vibe. And if life is too expensive and there's no meaningful jobs, like those scenes get depleted. You find that like over time, poppin' cities move. Like it rarely stays one popping city for a long time because eventually it'll get expensive. And when it gets expensive, then everything changes. Yeah. Miami saw that. Vegas has seen that. San Diego definitely saw that. Like I can rattle off a few more. I can rattle off a few that are popping right now, but they're probably about to crest. Yeah. And then if you look at it 5 years from now, like it's not going to be the same. The bachelorette parties are not going to flock to the same cities that they're flocking to right now in 5 years. 100%. So, but it changes. So just because that one scene might dissipate doesn't necessarily mean that like the city is going to dissipate. It's just a shift. Yeah, of course. Right? Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, so you go to San Diego and then you end up back here in Vegas, right? Yeah. And then I came back to Vegas, and then I came back to work for you guys for a little bit further, and then a bit of a chance meeting. So obviously everything's all about meeting people and networking in Vegas, and just I managed to randomly have a chance meeting with a young lady called Stacey Moffitt. Her brother was the CEO of Hakkasan Group. Yeah. So Hakkasan is obviously one of the largest nightclubs in Vegas, and then it's a whole group. So they manage like multiple venues. Obviously, you're aware of this, but she was her brother, and she's also from the UK. They're both from the UK. So obviously we met, we became friends, and then she mentioned to me that there's a potential job going at Hakkasan as a VIP marketing host. Which entails basically dealing with VIP table service, bottle service, high-end clients coming in. It's my job to schmooze them, make sure they're having a good time, bring them girls to their table, make sure they're happy, basically. So that was kind of my introduction into like the nightclubs, kind of from San Diego to there. Yeah. Yeah. So you started working for Hakkasan? Hakkasan Group, yeah. Nice. Yeah. So yeah, like, what was your title? A promoter? No, it was VIP marketing host. All right. Yeah. So as I said, I did that for about a year, but my job was basically to look after high-end clients. And through that job, I just had more and more people message me, like networking. Obviously, when you're around that sort of crowd, I learned to kind of take people's information, keep in contact with them, ask if they've got any friends come in.
social media kept growing as I'm doing this as well.
Yeah.
And it got to a bit of a point where I thought it's probably best I go independent because I could only cater to clients at one venue.
Yeah. And
I was
everybody wants to do everything.
Everybody wants to do everything. And
Yeah.
obviously with my knowledge and background from travel and concierge, I kind of wanted to bring it all, consolidate it all together. Because
Yeah.
people were asking, what about gun ranges? What about the Grand Canyon?
Yeah.
What about strip clubs? What about limos? So I was like, I should really be able to set something up and look after all of their needs whilst they're in town. So yeah, it got to a point where I was having a great time doing my job as well. Things got a little bit out of hand. I got a bit into the scene, which it happens, you know, when you're drinking with clients and after parties, and it all came to a bit of a head on my birthday. They, I think one of the team organised a free bungalow at Wet Republic.
Yep.
And it was the night before. I'd work later that evening, so I went there and I'm like, I can't drink too much. I've got work in like 5 hours. Obviously, no one listened.
Yeah.
Continue to drink. I didn't know this at the time, but people were doing cocaine in the bungalow.
Okay.
Right. So I got smashed, left. From what I've been told, I was running through the casino with my swim shorts on my head.
Yes.
And I ran past the manager, the GM at Hakkasan currently.
Your boss.
Yeah, my boss. So I didn't know that at the time, but I went home.
Yeah.
Fell asleep. Someone woke me up. Joel, you're late for work.
Oh.
Managed to wake up, do my stuff, still smashed, still really, really drunk. Got to work, and my GM just looked at me and went, there's not a chance, Joel, go home. And I was like, okay, cool. So next day.
Good effort.
You know, I tried. My tie was probably around my head or something. I don't know what was happening. But the next day, obviously, I had a phone call with him, and it was like, Joel, we're going to have to suspend you, unfortunately, due to what happened last night. And then also...
I have a feeling the cocaine's going to pop up again.
Yeah, someone found a bag of cocaine in the cupboard of the bungalow next to my business card. So someone was using my business card to tap up the cocaine. So through that, they obviously said we're gonna have to let you go. So I was like, okay, fair enough. I was devastated, obviously, but it was kind of a bit of a wake up call.
Oh yeah, for sure. Man.
So from there, I took a few weeks just to try and get myself together.
Yep.
And then, I realized it's probably time. This is a sign for you to kind of set up your own thing here.
Yeah.
So then that's the birth of my concierge UpBeat.
Yeah. Okay. Before we talk about UpBeat though, what's like? Do you mind if I ask, like, what would you get paid as a promoter working for Hakkasan?
Promoters and hosts are different. So the promoters get paid, I believe it's anywhere from $5 to $10 per girl that they bring to the venue. Sure. Yeah. And they usually get they don't get a basic salary.
Yeah.
But the VIP marketing hosts, I was paid, I think it was bi-weekly, I'd get around $2,000 to $3,000 basic, and then you'd get anywhere from 4 to 7% on what the table spend was.
That's legit money.
It was good money.
Yeah. That's legit money.
So while I was there, I was making some really good money.
And do you know if it's still like that? Because
no, it's not. It's gone more corporate.
Right?
Yeah, it's gone more corporate now.
Yeah.
Now Hakkasan Group are much bigger. Now they're Tao Group, so it's more corporate. I mean, Tao Group, how many venues do they currently manage? It's hundreds, I'd say.
I think it's 50.
Is it 50? Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's right?
a lot.
So
so they've gone more corporate. From what I know, obviously, I don't know 100%. I'm only speculating from what people have told me, but the salary's gone down and the percent's gone down.
And you know, it's worth saying that the scene changed, right?
Yeah, of course.
Like the nightclub scene is always going to be changing. Yeah. And you know, the time that you were talking about, I'd say that was the start of what I refer to as the DJ wars.
Yes.
So that's when big name DJs started really coming in, and each venue was going back and forth, just paying each other more and more and more. Like the DJs were getting $100,000, $200,000, $400,000, $600,000 I remember Deadmau5 was getting $1 million a show at Hakkasan.
Around
that's what the rumor was.
That's what speculation
anyway.
was. Yeah, but again, you never truly know. But
Yeah.
there was definitely some serious money being thrown around.
Yeah, and there was and everybody was coming to Vegas to go clubbing.
Yeah.
Like that's why people were coming to Vegas at that point.
100%.
And we still see that to an extent, but the times change.
Yeah.
And like every 18 months we see a whole new like refresh. What it looks like, the scene, particularly in Vegas, like 4 years from now will look nothing like it looks right now. 100%. And 4 years ago, it looked nothing. And 4 years prior to that, it looked nothing. And 4 years prior to that, it looked nothing. So
that's probably what I love about the city, though, as well. Just the change constantly.
I got to shake and move, baby.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's good.
But yeah, no, that was an interesting period with all of the DJ wars and stuff, the money being thrown around, and just it was good times.
So you go independent.
I went independent.
Tell me about this.
So as you well know, setting up a first business, obviously we did the business in San Diego, but I had partners there. There was, I think it was 3, 4, 5 of us, if you count Nick, Mike, and everyone else, which was different.
It was a lot.
Yeah, it was different. So then going from that to setting up UpBeat with my then business partner, Sean. So me and Sean originally set up UpBeat, didn't we?
Sean Dobbs.
Oh,
right on.
Yeah.
Sean Dobbs. I love that guy.
Yeah, good guy. We had obviously we had our differences, and we did part ways about 6 months to a year after. But he helped me set up the business. I'm not going to take that away from him.
Yeah.
He did well.
Nice.
So we set up the business, and then as you well know, setting up a business and from scratch is just it was a lot of work went into it, but it was fun. It was all new, and all new things.
What's the model like? Going independent. So I'm sure there's people that are listening to this that might want us to be an independent host someday. Like, what does that look like? What do they need to do?
So it was a lot to do with your client base. You need to have a good client base to start with. It's not something you can just kind of be like, oh, I do this now and just kind of survive off of it.
Yeah.
Between me and Sean, we had a really good client list. But it was just working out social media, AdWords as well for marketing to new clients, as well as looking after our existing clients and making sure that they're using us. And why are you using you instead of just going direct to the venue or doing it themselves?
Why?
It's because all of the stuff that we include on top. So what I saw was a bit of a niche in the market where a lot of the international clients weren't really being looked after as well as they should have been looked after.
Yeah.
This is just my personal opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is our personal opinion. This is what we saw. So what we included with all of our prices was for someone, myself or Sean or one of the team, to go to the venue, prepay the bottles, order the first round of drinks, negotiate a better table location, maybe a free upgrade, meet them somewhere around 12 p.m. for instance, 12 a.m. for instance, and then navigate the line, take them upstairs, introduce them to the waitress, bring some girls to their table, and just make sure they're happy.
Wow. So a client would like call you up and they'd say, instead of saying like, hey, it's my birthday, I want to go to the club today. Let's call up the club and get a table. They would call you up and be like, hey, can you get me a table?
Yeah.
And then so you would go in and you would give them that like white gloves treatment better than the club would do themselves. That's
not necessarily. I'm not taking away from the venues what they do, because they do offer a similar sort of service, but they can't do the prepay with the venue.
Right.
That doesn't exist.
Right.
And then the thing is with the hosts at the venues, they have on a typical night, they could have 40, 50 clients coming at them at once, being like, oh, my table's here, so they couldn't. I just feel they weren't getting the love as much as what we could we could offer them.
Oh yeah, no, I'd refer to like what you're describing as like a white glove service.
Exactly.
I get it. You would, you have somebody who really is watching out for you all night. So would you stay with them like all night?
No, we stay as long as they want.
Yeah.
So generally, as a rule of thumb, at the beginning, we did party with the clients. A bit too much, I'd say. Not too much, but there's a few instances where I wasn't really too happy with it. I don't feel like some clients don't want you there the whole night. Like they want to party with themselves, with their friends that they're with, Right. And sometimes they feel they don't want to say something to you. So kind of I said to Sean, let's kind of stay an hour as a rule, and then say to them if they want us to stay, we can stay longer, but we kind of just shake hands. I hope you have a lovely night. If there's anything else you need, our phones are on 24 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. And generally, clients will tell you if they want you to party with you, you know.
Yeah.
And say, no, you're staying, you're having a drink. All right, cool, I'll have a drink with you, you know. Fair enough, happy days.
Sure.
So yeah, we did find that. The other thing was obviously when they're going direct to a venue, they don't know what's on all around town.
Right.
They might come to me, we like R&B hip hop, what's good tonight?
Yeah.
And I can go X, Y, Z, this much for this table, this much for the table, this much for this table, this is what's included. The other thing we like to try and push was transparency.
Yep.
Because internationals, there's no such thing as taxes and tips.
Right.
The price you get told is the price you get told. So I wanted to kind of bring that into our business as well, which was huge.
Yeah.
So all international clients would message us and I go, it's this much. And they're going to go, what about this? What about that? No, it's all inclusive. You don't have to worry about a thing.
Yeah.
So as soon as you get into that venue, you don't have to pay another penny.
Yeah.
Because what happens is Vegas is a bit of a hustle, isn't it? You know, same, not just in VIP tables, but anywhere. Oh, I need a tip. You need to tip this guy. You need to do this. Oh, what about this? What about that? So we just took away the ambiguity and we said to people, you're not going to have to pay another penny. We're going to go in, we're going to prepay, and we're going to explain to you everything you need to know, and you can just get on with your night and have a great night, you know?
Yeah.
So that worked really well for us as well.
And then you mark up what's, you know.
Not even have to mark up a lot of the time, because the other thing, what we get as independent hosts, because we're sending these venues so much money, sometimes they'll give us better spends. So we're saving them people. We're saving people, like, that says $5,000 minimum spend online, but we can get it for $3,000. So for $3,000 bottom spend, so that's nearly $3,000 savings we've just given you.
Yeah.
So we generally, as a rule of thumb, if we've done something like that, we'd mark up like $300 to $500.
Sure.
But that would also include myself or one of my team to prepay, to go to the venue, to walk you in, to make sure you're happy, and then on top of this, 24-hour concierge the whole time you're here in Vegas. So it's the middle of the night. We want to go to a strip club, Joel. Can you sort that? Yes.
Yeah.
Joel, we want to go to a restaurant. Can you sort that? Yes. Anything you need whilst you're in Vegas, we've got you covered.
Nice.
Yeah. So as you said, the white glove service is probably the best way to describe it. But yeah, I don't feel like we even, over a 3 to 4 events, if clients book 3 to 4 events with us, they're saving money.
For sure.
Do you know what I mean? There's no way around it. We're saving
because
you money.
you've got the deals.
We've got the deals. And then a lot of venues, not a lot, but some venues will do bottled deals where they'll give you a free bottle as well. And we just pass that bottle on to them. There you go. There's another free bottle of vodka that's worth $850. So there you go. Yeah. And then all of the activities and services, we get paid off the back end anyway. So we don't even mark up on that. So to be honest, if I go to any other city now, I'm using a concierge, because if they're doing what we're doing, you're saving yourself a lot of money, and you're having someone on hand who's an expert, a local expert to look after it, you know?
That's awesome. Nice.
So yeah.
And you still do that in Vegas?
We still do that in Vegas, yeah. We've been going 7 years now. We've just hit a milestone of 10,000 events booked. So I'm pretty happy about that, yeah.
Congrats,
pretty happy with that. So yeah, and then we've just, we expanded into doing other cities just before COVID, and we launched the travel company a month before COVID.
Yeah.
So that was...
I remember a month before COVID. Like, the world was your oyster. Like, it was going nuts. The nightlife industry was going nuts, and it was on a trajectory straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't ideal.
I remember meeting with you and just like kick it, like just a couple weeks before the pandemic, and then a couple weeks after, we're like, what just happened?
Yeah. So we invested quite a lot of money into that, to be honest. But yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is, man.
You know. So, but we managed to relaunch that March this year, and we've done really well.
Oh, international and other cities.
International other cities.
Tell me about that. Where are you?
So, again, we focus mainly on entertainment cities similar to Vegas, Dubai, Ibiza, these sorts of places. But also we do high-end beach holidays, and now...
Oh, you travel stuff, right?
So travel stuff as well.
Yeah, okay. Walk me through that. So how does that work?
So it's the feel of the concierge, where we take care of every aspect of your trip.
Yeah.
But in other cities, other countries, and just kind of push that on. So, I mean, it's been... As I said, we've noticed in the market, it has changed a little bit. So we're focusing a lot more on trying to save clients, like give clients value, basically, you know, when they're booking these trips. Because a lot of people will book these all-inclusive trips, and they'll get there and then something will be cancelled. I don't know if you've noticed since COVID, like flight cancellations have gone absolutely through the roof.
Right.
And like once you get into town, hotels have been cancelled. We've had clients come into town who've not booked hotels through us, and they've got to the hotel and they said, your reservation's not here. It's just been
Really?
wiped. Yeah, that's happened 3 times in the past, probably a couple of months.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's been happening more and more.
Yeah. So if I were to call you up and say like, hey, I'm planning to go to Dubai. Like I've not been to Dubai. I was talking with a buddy yesterday about Dubai and like how have you spent time in Dubai?
I've only been there once.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Joel, I want to go to Dubai. I call up UpBeat. Okay. Can you help me get to Dubai? How does this conversation go from there?
Of course. So obviously we qualify you. We want to find out what sort of budget you're working towards. Is there any particular things you wanted to see or
what sort
Dubai?
Okay. So I want to go with my lady, and it's just going to be the two of us. We're going to go for 4 days, and we don't really know what to do. I mean, we've got 10 grand to spend for 4 days plus flights.
Nice. So yeah, we'd probably come back to you at that point because we'd want to create you a bit of an itinerary that we'd send over to you. But I mean, in Dubai, there's so much to see in terms of like the restaurants. It's very similar to Vegas. So like the nightlife, there's pool parties, the desert. They have like dune buggies. There's a lot of water there as well. So there's yacht parties. Brunches are huge over there. I know we have brunches in Vegas, but nothing compared to what they have over there. Like
really?
their brunch is the equivalent of our pool parties in terms of how busy they get. Like,
really?
They're insane. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's a company called Candy Pants over there, and then Sin Events, and their events are crazy. So yeah. So as I said, we focus our expertise is mainly in like the nightlife and entertainment side of things. So when you get over there, we can facilitate all of those bits for you, like restaurants, nightclubs, pool parties, yachts.
Nice.
Yeah. And then obviously with hotels and stuff, there's like Caesar's Palace over there, and there's a similar brands and like similar style of hotels, so you can get like amazing suites that like overlook the fountains and stuff.
What do people want to do most?
Party.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the yacht parties are huge. The brunches are huge. They're kind of the two big sellers when we set things up for people over there. It's kind of like we want to do brunch, we want to do the pool parties, we want to do that as well. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's been a bit of a learning curve. Obviously, trying to learn ourselves new cities and stuff because we have people on hand in those cities as well. So obviously we only know like the basis of what's going on there. Then we have someone who's an expert in the city that we kind of put you in contact with as soon as you get to the city.
Yeah.
So they're on your hand 24 hours, so they can advise you and point to you where you need to go. So trying to source similar companies that guarantee the 5-star service that proved difficult, but we've got it on lock now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So like you went from UpBeat Vegas, your company, to UpBeat Travel.
Yeah.
So, but you're just doing what UpBeat Vegas does, just in other cities,
basically,
and you call
yeah.
that UpBeat Travel.
Yeah, but now with UpBeat Travel as well, we've got we're able to facilitate flights and hotels. Whereas UpBeat Vegas, we do more suites. We can do hotels and stuff, but we kind of just left it more to focus on like the nightclubs and the pool parties and the activities and stuff.
Nice.
Whereas travel, we can do full packages for you. You know.
Nice.
Take care of everything.
Where's your company going next?
I mean, there seems to be people are trying to find more value.
Yeah.
So what we're working on, we've just done a partnership with Virgin Cruises. I don't know if you've seen, it's the only adult-only cruises. So there's a lot of cruises, but there's still children. There's obviously adult areas, but these Virgin ones are only adult. So they've been we've sold quite a lot of those this year. And then all-inclusives have been huge for us in some of these big beaches. And then a new trend that's kind of come up is set jetting. Have you heard of that?
No.
So everyone wants to travel to their favorite set. So there's been like a lot of New Zealand trips to go see like the Lord of the Rings and like, I don't know if you see the White Lotus, that new TV show on HBO. Everyone wants to go to Sicily and Italy, Santorini, all of these areas. We're finding a lot of people being like, oh, we want to go there because of this.
Right.
It's because they've seen their favorite show there. So yeah, that's been an
cool.
interesting thing we didn't notice.
Yeah. So you say that there wants to be people are looking for a lot more value. It feels like people are traveling with less money lately.
I mean, the economy is what it is right now, isn't it? Obviously, inflation's just bloody through the roof, and people have had to kind of cut back a little bit.
Flights have been really bad. Like normally I'll fly back to Toronto pretty often, and flights from Toronto are like double lately.
UK
flights to Montreal. I had to buy, mind you, it was last minute, but I had to get one of my staff a trip to Phoenix today. The flight was $350 from Vegas to Phoenix.
Jeez,
what the hell? That's
crazy.
Yeah. So we're seeing that going up. It's affecting a lot of these travel spots. The drive-in crowds have been going.
Yeah, it's trying to create. What we're trying to do is create value in people's trips. If you're going to go away, let's create some value out of it. So a lot of the fly drives have become pretty big now as well. So obviously, fly into Vegas, drive to LA, drive to San Diego, fly out of San Diego.
Yeah.
So then you're really creating the value. You're seeing multiple places, and you're just getting your money's worth, basically.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do in other areas as well.
Yeah. Did you see any other trends coming up in the next little while?
Yeah. So it's everyone's going kind of. They kind of want to go a little bit more green, you know. So like RV, people are talking a lot about like cabins and RV and that sort of vibe, and kind of like educational. A lot of people have mentioned as well.
Yeah.
Like they want to go somewhere, they want to learn something about the area that they're in.
Yeah.
This is
sounds like everybody's turning into a dad.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Not for me. I mean, as you get older, it changes as well. You know, obviously it depends on the area. As we grow, as we get older, our clients are getting older as well, so we kind of have to cater to them. We still market to the younger crowds and the older crowds, but as we get older, we kind of just like, we want to...
Do you see a shift in like what 21 to 25-year-olds or like 18 to 25-year-olds are today versus what they were 10 years ago?
Yeah, I feel like the partying scene is definitely not quite as strong as what it was. As I said, Instagram has just been huge to people. People want to go and take a selfie in a really popular place. You know, that's where they'll come to Hollywood, and we got a Hollywood sign, and they want to do the Vegas sign. They want to do a picture, and they want to go, rather than partying every single day and night, they want to actually go do things. Like Grand Canyon's been huge for us this year.
Yeah.
Gun ranges, just all of the really quirky things they can get some content for. You know, some content creation. I feel like is kind of a play in a lot of the younger people's reasons for traveling.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, when I started putting together this podcast and thinking about like, you know, what does it really mean to party? And, you know, ultimately, you know, the definition of party is food, drinks, entertainment, and people. And I find that can get that goes over everything. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to, you know, get drunk, or that you need to like, you know, go hard or go night clubbing or stuff like that. I consider like conventions and, you know, conventions to be parties. Consider like brunches to be parties. And do you find that people are? I definitely understand that people are going into the woods and stuff like that more, and a lot more hiking and stuff like that. But do you think that there's going to be a shift in the drinking culture? You think there is a shift in the drinking culture?
Maybe. I feel, not to go too deep into drugs, obviously it's part of partying, and you do get a lot of clients asking me about drugs when they come into town, but a lot more people have asked me about like ayahuasca retreats and talk more about like taking mushrooms at some of these venues, which is quite an interesting thing. Like I never really thought about it, but maybe is something that...
Those are not really considered to be party drugs.
I know, but seem to be more like people, when they go to a venue now, they'll message me and say, can you get me mushrooms for tonight? Can you get me acid for tonight, rather than cocaine, if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
I always remember when I was growing up, obviously I partook when I was younger, not so much now, but cocaine, ecstasy, Molly was the proverbial drug of choice for all of the parties. But now it's a lot of clients are asking more for like mushrooms, acid, and more like escapism type drugs, which is interesing.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's anything in that, but that's something I've definitely noticed.
No, that's definitely something to take into consideration as like to what the scene, like the change of the scene. And I found that just generally younger generations of people don't drink as much as as my generation did.
Definitely.
You know, I think that there's a real like health conscious movement. It's good. It's great. You know, like
100%.
But yeah, that's cool. So what do you think are some good things for people to do if drinking is off the table? or partying like
In Vegas in particular?
Sure. Let's talk Vegas and maybe kind of some other locations like Dubai or.
Yeah, I mean the hikes alone in this city, just around, in and around Vegas, is just phenomenal. Like, there's so much going, there's so many options to hike. Like even like, do you see the hikes down in the Grand Canyon you can do?
Yeah.
Like there's mental, like the waterfalls down the bottom of the canyon. There's just, and then obviously even just like Lake Mead, we've sold a few. We do like boats down there. You can do jet skiing down by the Hoover Dam. And then obviously you've got Red Rock. These are all just free kind of activities. It don't even cost you that much money to do, but are really, really beautiful and good to see. And then obviously you've got your standard things, your gun ranges, shoot a machine gun out of a helicopter, which has been proved pretty.
Can you actually do that?
Yeah.
I know I've shot machine guns in Vegas. Can you actually do it from a helicopter?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem safe.
Welcome to Vegas, Nick. No, it's this actual company. We sell their tours. We've sold a few of them. Yeah, and then obviously you've got drive a tank over a car experience at Battlefield. Yeah, that's good fun. So Vegas is constantly new things that are coming out. There's a new tour that's just been announced. They're doing skydives out of helicopters at night over the Vegas Strip.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
on the Vegas Strip.
On the Vegas Strip, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. I don't know if it's actually on the strip or just like it's very close to the strip. You're falling out and you see the strip. It's how they've sold it. So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. The skydiving is something else for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Especially doing it over the strip. So I mean, the other one is the Doors Off helicopter tour. That's been quite busy this year. We've sold quite a few of those.
Yeah.
So as I say, it's just these unique kind of experiences. Again, it goes back to the content creation. People want to do something that they're going to get a load of follows and likes off their Instagram or social media from. So we find a lot of people asking and requesting these sorts of things, or the new in restaurant to go to.
Yeah.
Which is always a new one popping up in Vegas, isn't there?
And that's a lot of that stuff is influenced by influencers, right? So,
exactly.
So I've seen lots of restaurants pop off as soon as some of the local influencers write about it on their Twitter or their TikTok. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy times.
Yeah. Cool. So if somebody wants to book a event or something with you, how do they get in touch with you?
Either follow us on Instagram at UpBeat Vegas, or they can drop me a message.
Right on.
Yeah.
Joel, this has been awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming in. It's a pleasure and been super insightful, man.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Cheers.
Have a good one.